Thank you so much for joining V-Star today. We witnessed endoscopic extravaganza, and now we come to the session most awaited, pride moment for my team, felicitation of past presidents. Friends, IAGE is one of the most vibrant organizations full of enthusiastic endoscopists, and that's the credit goes to the past presidents. They have imbibed endoscopy in our mind when we were postgraduates, when we started our practice, and everyone realized endoscopy is the future. I'm saying this is vibrant and strong organization because though it is of 4,000 endoscopists, everyone is passionate about the endoscopy. Today, the time has come for the team IAGE to felicitate our past president, who are the reason what we are today as an organization. They have taken a huge efforts, and that's why on a ready carpet, we got a beautiful organization to work for. Today, it gives me immense pleasure to felicitate each and every past president with the most prestigious award, Pride of IAGE. The award reads, Dear past president, Pride of IAGE, we salute you for your path-breaking journey in IAGE, leaving behind footprints in the sand of time for generations to follow. Presented on 4th October 2020 at V-Star Conference, Virtual Endoscopy, Learning Spaces, Technology, Advances, and Research in Endoscopy. So all my lovely past presidents, thank you so much for giving such a beautiful organization to the country, and your efforts will not be forgotten, will not be waved off, but these footprints we all will follow, which I have followed, and I know our succeeding people will follow. We, not only as a team IAGE, but entire country endoscopists and gynecologists salute you today and bow in front of you for efforts you have taken to bring this organization where it stands today. Thank you for your time and thank you for coming over. Now I request Atul Ganatra, our treasurer, and Bhaskar Pal, my most dynamic secretary, to take over and felicitate our all past presidents. Thank you so much for your time and thank you for coming and patient hearing. Thank you.
Thank you for the lovely words, Sunita. The IAGE, although it is a reasonably strong tree today, but it is still growing. But what we must remember, especially the newer generations, that one day some people decided to sow the seeds, which was a small plant and which has grown into this big. And it is really an honor for IAGE to felicitate one of the founder members and president, Professor Motashaw. And we are honored to have one of the virtual halls today, the same hall where we are conducting this program, to be named after Madam. Can I have the spotlight on Madam, please? Dr. Motashaw has inspired even the first generation of endoscopists, from whom gradually this has taken over. And really today we bow our heads down to Madam for the visionary step of founding this organization.
Makrant, can we have a spotlight on ma'am, please? Swati,
On spotlight, madam.
Yeah.
Swati, if you speak automatically, she will be in the center.
Would you like to show the plug, Swati, please?
You have to unmute, Swati.
Makrant, can you keep the spotlight on the past presidents as we go on rather than us?
Yes.
Yeah, Swati is coming.
Ma'am, please unmute yourself.
Yeah. Swati, you have to unmute yourself. You have to unmute. It is so lovely to see her.
Yeah, I think Madam does not wish to speak, but we wish Madam good health and keep blessing all of us. Thank you, Dr. Zaki.
May I say a few words for Madam on her behalf, because I'm Dr. Adi Dastur.
Yes, sir, please.
And I've been working with her for the last 105 years. So, can I say a few words, Madam,
Yes,
for
sir.
you?
Sir, please.
Yes, sir, please.
Well, Madam began doing laparoscopy in the late 60s. And in the early 70s, I was with her in the KM hospital as a lecturer. And she would come in this Ford station wagon, what you call SUVs now, with two Alsatian dogs at the back, and one was Bruce. And her laparoscope would be lying there. So, and she would come to the hospital in the portico, and we had to go and take these jewels in the plastic boxes to the theater. And I was the only one allowed to wash her scope and to keep her scope back in the formalin tablet boxes, because I was her favorite always. And she was really a class by herself, because when she was doing laparoscopy, it was a total new thing which she was doing. And she would call the surgeons from the surgical department of KM hospital. She would call the surgeons from the Breach Candy Hospital, other departments. Tempton Udvade, she would call. See, Tempton, this is the liver, this is the gallbladder, this is the appendix. Think about it, think about it. She enthused the surgeons also to do these things. And I was totally crazy over Madam from the beginning, like I'm today also. If I was here, I hugged her first before talking. So Madam was really inspiring. And she taught me and the lecture I was given after maintaining her instruments was equipment's maintenance. So all the courses we had, I had that lecture because I was supposed to know how to maintain her laparoscope. You couldn't hold the laparoscope with one hand. You had to hold with two hands. Go to the basin and wash in a particular way. Then put it back. The trocar has to be remove the screw, remove the spring, keep it separately in the box, because the spring can get softer. So she was absolutely a perfectionist, and her technique was just so super that till the end I've been using her technique. So much so that the day IAGE started, she was an honorary member of the IAGE. And I was a small person following her all the time. So we wrote 2 papers for the first IAGE conference in Las Vegas. Laparoscopy to resolve Mullerian abnormalities. And the second one, laparoscopy follow-up of tubal sterilization in the female. And the pictures I had to draw but there's no camera those days, so I had to draw pictures on our own. And those were very well rewarded in the Louis Keith's publication of the book on the conference. And from the first conference of the IAGL, we have been with the IAGL. And Madam is the one who became the first president of the International Association of Laparoscopists. And they chose her from the entire continent and from the US and from Australia, all of them, that she is the best person to lead the International Association. And I remember one day at the Taj, we were having our own conference. She was the chairman, I was the secretary of an international laparoscopy conference. And she spoke about laparoscopy in tubal pregnancy. And the Americans got so upset next to me. What does she think she's saying? The tubal rupture. I said, nothing ruptures spontaneously like that. You're diagnosing before the rupture, so you're saving the patient and doing laparoscopic surgery. So, and they just couldn't understand how for a tubal pregnancy, a woman can do a laparoscopy for her. So these were the days when we were basking in the endoscopy sun, and Madam was the number one. When she spoke, everybody listened. Wherever you are. And she was really...
Adi,
Yeah, I'm sorry, my 2 minutes are over.
short, but let me tell you, that is the reason why we labeled Motashaw and Khandawala Hall. But yesterday I was telling people, if you have not watched on Netflix RGB, Ruth, who is the lawyer of a Supreme Court judge of US, Dr. Motashaw used to be respected like that. When we were very young in 1993, 94, when we have gone to AGL, we have seen how much this Iron Lady was respected there. We saw that beautifully. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dastur, for telling us those lovely stories. And thank you, Dr. Motashaw, for being here today in spite of all the problems. Thank you, madam. We're really proud of you. Atul.
It's an honor to welcome a teacher par excellence, a singer par excellence, and one of the most well-dressed people in Foxy, in the Association of Gynecologists and Gynecological Endoscopists, Dr. Adi Dastur. It's an honor to welcome you, and we are really, really humbled by your presence, and we are very, very proud of whatever you were then, whatever you are today. We welcome you, sir. Could you please bring that? Could you please take the plaque in front of you, sir?
Shall I stand up, or is this okay?
No,
No,
that's
this is fine,
sir.
sir.
Please
Just
say
for
a few words, sir. And I think I just add a small snippet, Atul. Also, not only the most well-dressed person, the person with the mobla with a funny ink.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you so much for those kind words. The Parsis have a, fetish for certain things, and one thing is good fountain pen joiye. It's very sahi wali. Ball pen nahi, sahi wali. Okay, but you can sign with the actual dark blue ink. So we always like ink pens compared to that. So I really am going to treasure this because it will remind me of my laparoscopy days with Dr. Motashaw, how we began, like I mentioned to you earlier. And after that, I went into many other fields. I was doing also fetoscopic blood sampling for thalassemia pregnancies as an all India project. Before the ultrasound came, before the ultrasound came for chorosynthesis. So you would literally in the Wadia hospital give local, put the scope inside fetoscope, take out a sample of fetal blood and come out in about 2.5, 3 minutes. So before you could finish a song, Atul, in 2.5 minutes, the scope was out with the sample. So, and then ultimately, of course, the ultrasound came and you chorosynthesis and the fetoscope went off. So endoscopy is the science of yesterday, of today, and of tomorrow. I think eventually, most surgeries in gynecology will be replaced by endoscopic surgery. But I always stress what my teacher taught me, V.N. Purandare also. Unless you've done vaginal surgery, unless you felt the bladder peritoneum, unless you felt the ureter in a Schauter's operation, unless you felt tissues with your fingertips while doing an open surgery, abdominal surgery, if you felt the ureter, if you felt things in the ovary, chocolate cysts, how they feel, how endometriotic nodules feel, that gives you a little handicap over the laparoscopy surgery because you've gone there, done that, and now you're doing it laparoscopically. But I still can't imagine people who are doing the first time laparoscopy, like today's residents learn laparoscopy before they learn vaginal surgery. Or laparoscopy, if they learn properly, they will not learn vaginal surgery. To be a complete gynecologist, step by step, Victor Bonney, V.N. Purandare, vaginal surgery first, V.N. Purandare, abdominal surgery, what I learned, and then Motashaw, laparoscopy. So now you know I'm the luckiest guy. Now you know I'm the most well-dressed guy because Motashaw was the most well-dressed doctor in KM Hospital. She would come in a beautiful row of pearls every day, and she would wear lovely clothes and lovely saris. So people who first took her dresses for such a long time. And one day, when the fiber optic cable was lying in the car, that Alsatian Bruce chewed up the cable. So she was so mad at him for once she spanked him because he chewed up the fiber optic cable. So suddenly he'll go into light himself, if some put the light source on or something. So they are very good days, and I'm very happy that you're giving this award to me, because I'll put it in my pride of place in my clinic. And I'm sure I'll treasure this for many, many, many more years to come. Thank you, IAGE team. Thank you, all my friends. And most of all, thank you, Madam Motashaw. I love you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for those lovely words. It is my pleasure now to introduce a person who's a thorough gentleman, very meticulous, and one of the early endoscopic surgeons. He has graced many organizations. He was the president of IAGE, if I'm not mistaken, from the year 2003 to 2005. Professor Sam Desai. Sir, have you received the plaque? And would you
have, and
say a few words, please?
Extremely happy to read it and hold it. And here it is, very, very well. It's going to occupy a very important place in my trophies.
So can I just take a picture? So I want to take a picture. Dr. Desai, please.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Would you say a few words to our younger members, especially?
Yes, in fact, my journey with endoscopy began when I was Dr. Motashaw's house surgeon. It was indeed really hands-on that we were involved in endoscopy, because at that time she was the one who used to conduct programs for professors from all over the country to come to KEM hospital, and we used to literally teach them endoscopy. So we had Professor Palniappan coming from Chennai, we had Dr. Chandravati coming from Lucknow. We had extremely very, very influential and very topmost professors from all over the country coming. And we as house surgeons and registrars would partake in this program. Of course, we were supervised by Dr. Adi Dastur, who was a lecturer, Dr. Naina Dastur, who was also there, and Dr. Motashaw and Dr. Shirish Shet were principal instructors at that time. Well, that was in 1975-76. And Dr. Motashaw was indeed a visionary. She knew that the future of gynecological surgery was endoscopy. So there were successive presidents following her, Dr. Reena Patel, Dr. Khandwala, Dr. M.N. Parikh. We must not forget them, because they were indeed the pioneers of endoscopy in India. Dr. M.N. Parikh was also very instrumental in going to Johns Hopkins. And in fact, he showed them modifications of their laprocator, which they found very interesting, and they changed the design of their laprocator subsequently. Well, we were residents and we were initiated into endoscopy full scale. We were fortunate to follow the footsteps of these great pioneers. And we did endoscopy not only at the teaching hospitals, we also started doing endoscopy at various fora, thanks to the IAGE. And finally, 30 years later, in 2003, when I was installed as the president of IAGE, I had a whole lot of people who are enthusiastic in trying to learn endoscopy, trying to teach endoscopy. And I was the president who said that, well, let's have one conference in each of the 5 zones that we have. And we had conferences in Bhubaneswar, in Agra, in Coimbatore, and there were stalwarts over there who were doing endoscopy, and we spread the message of endoscopy. Well, successive presidents have enhanced the image of and stature of the IAGE, and we've had lovely presidents. Following me was Prashant, then came Rakesh, Rishikesh, Prakash Trivedi, Nandita, Rishma, and now Sunita. I'm indeed grateful to the association for having brought us all together, and we've had certainly very good relationships with all of them, and each successive president has been able to enhance the stature of the organization. Dr. Bhaskar Payal has also done a wonderful job as the secretary, and I'm sure he will do another great innings as the president of IAGE in the future. I think it's an excellent gesture which Dr. Sunita has followed, and to recognize and felicitate the past presidents. After all, we belong to the roots from where we all came. Thank you, Sunita. Thank you, Bhaskar.
Atul.
Thank you, Dr. Shyam Desai. I think I did my first workshop with you. Dr. Prashant Mangeshkar, I think one of the most well-read person I have seen, one of the most honest people I have met, and the person who took endoscopy global and took India global. I think we are very, very proud of you, Dr. Prashant. A few words and your plaque, please.
beautiful, and you all can see it.
Hello.
Wonderful. It's a wonderful gesture that Sunita and you have decided to come up with this plaque, inviting all the presidents that are around and available to felicitate us for our jobs that we've done as presidents. And of course, the credit goes to Dr. Motashaw for having founded the IAGE. She was my father's contemporary, and I know her since the time I was a little kid coming to the Peach Candy Hospital. But we should not also forget the great Dr. V.N. Shirodkar, who unfortunately was the unsung hero who brought in the laparoscope into India. And then later on, when he died, his laparoscope was then being used by my postgraduate teacher, whom I actually met 2 days ago in Alibag, the professor, Dr. M.R. Narwekar. So of course, Dr. Motashaw did start doing diagnostic laparoscopies a lot, and also introduced India to the AGL. She was a very close friend of Professor Kurt Sem, and she was also one of those who actually motivated me to go to Kiel to learn laparoscopic surgery in the mid-80s. Of course, Dr. M.N. Parekh, another friend of my dad, so and he was my teacher at the Wadia maternity, and Adi Dastur. So all of them doing all their what they would call gymnastics in the theater with the laparoscope. It became a very exciting toy for me to fiddle around with, and then go to Germany. And then with our whole family of the IAGE, the late Rakesh, and of course Sham, and P.K. Shah, followed by the rest, Prakash Gawri. Prakash and I were together at the Rajouri Hospital. We did our first workshop in the country on laparoscopic surgery together, and then there were many that he and I did together in Rajouri, and then subsequently all over the country, to make people aware that there is laparoscopic surgery which is coming into vogue, and we should be now doing that in plenty. And I'm happy with the work followed by the later presidents, that is Nandita, Rishma, Rishi, and the others. Apologies if I've forgotten anybody's name. And of course, Sunita, that IAGE and endoscopy has become now like a household name, and even in small villages and towns, laparoscopic surgery is being performed. And I think there are more laparoscopic surgeons now in India than all the world put together. And we're doing a lot of work, and to see youngsters doing even radical surgeries at par, or probably even better than some of my friends across the world. And it's good. And of course, it's happy to see that they've not yet embraced the toy that is being pushed onto us, the robot. So follow your dream and follow your passion, and I'm sure we all can achieve the impossible. Thank you
very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Prashant. Yes,
so Sham, of course, you also were there with all of us together, doing a lot of workshops and teaching all over the world. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Prashant. That the fact that India has so many good endoscopic surgeons today, I think a lot of it is due to the organization, and a lot of it to past presidents, many of whom have trained many endoscopists. It is an absolute pleasure to have with us Dr. Rishikesh Pai, who was the president of IAGE in 2007 to 2009. And it is in Rishikesh's tenure that I became a member of IAGE Rishikesh. And,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and Rishikesh is a very popular and inclusive leader. And I have always followed that his motto of life is do and let do. In an organization, he'll do what he thinks is right and what he wants to do, and he would let everybody around him to do whatever they wanted to. He's never stopped anybody. It's a loss that he's from a hysteroscopist and IVF specialist. He's moved on to only an IVF specialist to give more time. But Rishikesh, it's an honor for us to have you here, and we'd request you to say a few words.
Thank you, Bhaskar. First of all, let me thank you all. That is Sunita, you, and Atul for giving us this honor. And all of the seniors are here. Actually, one of the important persons who is very important as far as I am concerned. You know, when I look back now, of course, Motashaw was my teacher. But my thesis teacher was Dr. Motashaw in KM. Dr. Sham was, of course, there. And then my three friends, Tripurti, I have to call them, Mangeshkar, Trivedi and Rakesh Sinha were there, and Dr. Adi Dastur was there, of course. But two very important people also who influenced me in endoscopy was my father, DN Pai, and my, his chum, bum chum, that is Dr. Khanwala, because my dad really took laparoscope all over India. I think he must have taught in the 70s when we started Pearl Center, and we crossed maybe 250,000 sterilizations laparoscopy in those years. He taught people all over the Asia, and I was that in college and school, and he was a great person. He and B.N. Purandare, and so they were into the laparoscopic movement of the family planning kind of. There was Steptoe also. Dr. Steptoe of IVF fame, he was a specialized in doing laparoscopy under local anesthesia. He was one who propounded sterilization. And Sherman Silver was there, who used to do vasectomy reversal. So those people I got exposed to as well. So that was also a very important part of my bringing up in laparoscopy. And of course, down the road, so many of all of the people who are here were very relevant. I was very impressed by them. And then in 98, Batochi influenced me a lot. When I went to learn hysteroscopy from him, and I really did a lot of work in hysteroscopy. I'm very happy looking back. And today, when I was talking to you in the program, I felt that maybe the time has come for me to come back to endoscopy now. With completing the full circle, because that's where it had started. Our Pearl Center, the private hospital, was the thing where it had really started the endoscopic work in the country. As far as the present, of course, my boss, Dr. Shyam Desai, was my president and I was the secretary. And that was the time when Dr. Shyam Desai phoned me and said, there are 4 cupboards of endoscopy. One is lying with Dr. Prachal, one is lying with Dr. Motashaw garage, one is lying here. So I got all the cupboards together. There was no list, member list was not there. I got a member list and we literally created, because the organization had gone into a slack. So we recreated the organization. And I'm so happy today that people are fighting desperately to get in. I should not forget, at this stage, I should not forget.
Rishi, you're muted.
We lost your voice.
By Dr. Shraddhanand Thakur, who was very important for me. And that Dr. Rakesh Sinha also is no longer with us, and
I would remember him as well. So all in all, I'm very grateful and thankful to all of you. And then, of course, all of the presidents who are here, the newer presidents are also very dynamic. Rishma, Nandita was there, and they are very dynamic, and they actually have built the organization. So each president has built the organization on the thing that was created by the previous president, and that is my whole concept. The continuity is very important, and in not only building the organization but sustaining the organization is also very important. And let us hope that we can all stay as good friends and enjoy this. When you look back and people like Sunita, they take care of you and they honor you. You feel really happy and you feel that everything what you did was worth the trouble. Thank you very much. I'm really obliged and grateful to all of you to call me and give me this honor today, and wish you the very best in life. Thank you.
Lots of parties due from Sunita.
I just want to say more than 1,500 people are watching this live. They are seeing the great presidents of India. I'm thankful to all of you who joined.
Atul.
It's again an honor to felicitate none other than Dr. Ajendra Sanpal. I call him the magician of laparoscopy. I think laparoscopic suturing, very, very few people can do as easily, as smoothly as he can do. Honest, down to earth, and a wonderful person that he is. Rajendra, we welcome you.
Yeah. Am I on the screen?
Yes, Rajendra. Hold your plaque. I need to take a picture. Thank you.
I am deeply honored. Thank you, Team IAGE, Dr. Sunita, led by Dr. Sunita, Dr. Bhaskar, and all of the IAGE Managing Committee, of course, the Atul. I remember I was involved in IAGE right from my early days in 1994 when I finished my residency. And I was fortunate to meet the right professors or right teachers at right time of my career who influenced my career so well. And I wish to, mention their names: Dr. Vandana Valvekar, Dr. Naina Dastur, of course, Dr. Sham Desai, who influenced too much on my endoscopy career, Dr. Adi Dastur, and Professor Louis Keith, who is a late Professor Louis Keith. They influenced so much that I remember I used to assist Dr. Sham Desai in his units, though I was not a resident of his unit. But still I wanted to assist him, and it became a regular phenomena. And he started involving me in laparoscopic training courses where I was unaware of how to give the training. And what the funny thing was, I used to listen to the senior delegates and I used to teach the same thing to those guys. And this is how I evolved, and I used to attend the managing committee as a attendee just with the interest. And this is how I got involved in IAGE early days of my life, and I could learn many things from my past presidents. And I was fortunate to have been secretary to Dr. Prakash Trivedi, who inculcated me many administrative aspects of the organization. And I used to admire Rishikesh, Dr. Rakesh Sinha, and Dr. P.K. Shah. I was their treasurer and all. And this is how I grew up in the organization in my early days, and I became the youngest president of the organization, where in my career of presidency in 2 years, in 2015 and 2017, I could conduct 14 different events nationally, internationally, and we went abroad and brought, with the help of Dr. Trivedi, AGL, as well as I brought ESGE with us to do the conferences and to go worldwide. So it is all hard work of, and the good gesture and blessings of my teacher that they influence and change my career. And this award will remain as a treasure in my, you can see my office. It will remain in the rest of my life, and I always treasure it. Thank you so much once again for showing this particular gesture. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajendra. You are one of the most humble endoscopists of our generation.
Thank you.
I would like to remind our young members that there are some people we are missing today. Some of them are no more. We've spoken. Some of the past presidents have spoken about them. Dr. Khandwala is no more. Dr. S.S. Thakur, as well as Dr. Rakesh Sinha. Many of you do know Dr. Rakesh Sinha. Dr. M.N. Parikh, we actually couldn't manage to be in touch with Dr. M.N. Parikh. And Dr. Praveen Patel was supposed to take over as president, but he actually left us while he was the vice president. So we fondly remember all of them. As much, God, man proposes, God disposes. As much as we thought that we'll go by tenure-wise, the sudden absence of Dr. P.K. Shah has actually turned the thing a little haywire. From 2007 to 2009, Rishikesh Pai was the president. 2009 to 2011, Dr. Rakesh Sinha was president. 2011 to 2013, Dr. P.K. Shah was president. And it is in P.K. Shah's time that I first came into the managing committee. I do fondly remember that. We were hoping to have Dr. P.K. Shah here. And the person who followed Dr. P.K. Shah was Dr. Prakash Trivedi in 2013 to 2015. And then came Dr. Ajendra Sanpal from 2015 to 2017. It is absolutely my pleasure to present before you Dr. Prakash Trivedi, who's a pioneer of endoscopy in this country. He's an innovator, and he is one of the rare persons who's got innovations, and he's mastered 3 aspects of minimal access surgery: hysteroscopy, laparoscopy, and urogynecology. Prakash always had a parallel track mind, so he was thinking differently and continuously innovating. I have also learned a lot in terms of administrative wise and organization wise from these two gentlemen, Dr. P.K. Shah and Dr. Prakash Trivedi. Prakash, it's an honor for IAGE to have you here, and please say a few words.
So, Dr. Prakash, could you hold the clock close to you, please? While I take this picture, I think Dr. Prakash Trivedi, it's impossible to define this person. I think how much this man can do and the mammoth capabilities that this man has. I think all I can say is hats off to you, sir.
It's a great pleasure. Thank you, Sunita and Sunita, Bhaskar, Atul, and the IAG team. This is probably a historic moment when so many presidents are together,
In
uh,
one screen.
especially interacting. Thanks, courtesy to Sunita and the entire IAG team. I have been very lucky because when Dr. Motashaw, I remember in 1987 when we had the AICOG in Mumbai. So there was Chimko had a lucky draw that in 100 rupees, one person gets a laparoscope. So as usual, I went for just on 25th December on a holiday. I took my motorcycle and I took one coupon for that 15% discount. And then Krishna Kumar was there. He came running. What are you doing here? Tera naam aaya. Mera naam kahan hai? Itna bada ASUG. So then Madam Motashaw pulled the name, and that was Prakash Gawri. So in 100 rupees, I got Stor's laparoscope. And at that time, Deepak Dave also was there, and he was telling it is a rare coincidence wherein somebody is skilled, somebody is a gold medalist, and can be lucky also. So Motashaw is in heart of everybody, and her golden hand gave me the laparoscope. Then obviously Dr. M.Y. Rawal, Dr. S.S. Thakur, all were my teachers in Nair. Then my gold medal was given by Dr. V.N. Purandare, which was really interesting. More interesting was that me and Rakesh were roommates, batchmates, whatever it is. Most of you don't know, Rakesh wanted to go to pediatrics, and I pulled him and I told कि बच्चों को कुछ पूछ थोड़ी सकते हैं कि सांस लो, खांसी करो, And though I was highest in medicine, and he told, no, you take pediatric. I told, forget about it. And that was the biggest thing I did in my life, Always I got good people together. And then after that, me and he were roommates and did so many things together. And if that was not adequate, me and Prashant were posted in the same unit in Rajawadi Hospital. And Prashant, I and Prashant get along very, very well, with his jokes, which is humor, you name everything. And in fact, with Rakesh, and when we used to sit together, I used to have tears in my eyes. Itna haste the hum log. And obviously, we missed him, Praveen Patel, and many other people. Me and Prashant at Rajawadi, we were very lucky because we had the first major laparoscopic surgery workshop, then which was very successful. Prashant was the organizing chair, I was the secretary. Then we had the hysteroscopy workshop, and I remember Madam Motashaw coming there, and our library was totally air conditioned and red carpet, and we had all the best instruments, and Motashaw was so overwhelmed with the live surgery done at Rajawadi. So Rajawadi is a lot of things which gave it. And then fortunately me, Prashant, Rakesh, then subsequently say Alka Kriplani, Ajendra Sanpal, and all of us, Sunita, we went too many places, and I was more fortunate that I got my presidentships during right time. So in that time, between 2013 to 15, we had a unique honor to organize so many events and so many good events. And we had excellent people from all over the country. Then whether it is an AAGL, whether it's another international conference, we had some of the huge events and profits. And most important, what I always feel is that every follower who was with me, I always tell that all my followers become better than me and they outshine me. And that is what happened with everybody, whether it's Sanjay Patel or whether it's somebody else, and Sunita, and now Kumar will also be there. So it really becomes such a close feeling. And IAG is the biggest growing organization with plenty of people who are happy amongst the association. So this is a very different thing, they are very happy to share, interact. Everybody likes, everybody appreciates good surgery. The last year was very remarkable. I had a fantastic 2 years. Rajendra had, Nandita and Rishma had. But in last year, the way in which Sunita had taken the entire organization, Sunita, Bhaskar, Atul and the team, it was just a phenomenal progress in all direction, all over the country, various projects. The enthusiasm was, it was caught by everybody. And, you always feel very happy that you have evolved the subsequent leaders who are so great and will be doing so great. Obviously, Kumar will also do well. Bhaskar is to Chanakya. Atul, everybody knows he can do a lot. Pandit is there, and it's truly an honor, and truly we feel happy and humbled, and we feel कि एक और बार जीने को मन हो रहा है. You feel like add another 5-10 years more so that you can teach to so many generations and have friends like all of you. It's truly a great honor, and with Adi Dastur and all these people, Rishikesh and all around, it's a big honor. Thank you very much.
Actually, one thing I want to say here, I'm sorry, Bhaskar and Atul, I'm interrupting. When you said na aur jine ka man ho raha hai, when I heard Rakesh Sinha is no more, the first thing in my mind came is, oh my God, his endoscopic career has over. You never know now next life what it is.
Thank you, Prakash. And I think maybe 10 years from down the line, one day when Sunita is being felicitated and she will say, well, I was the pioneer in doing e-conferences. Maybe in 10 years, e-conferences will be the way forward. Who knows?
That's true.
It is my absolute pleasure to introduce a person who I am very close to, Dr. Nandita Palshetkar, who was the president of IAGE from 2017 to 2018. It is from 2017 we moved to a 1-year tenure. And Nandita has always amazed me by her people skills. She's a people's president. And doesn't matter, means what kind of a person, what is that person's nature. She has this unique ability to connect to everybody and make them feel that they know her for years. I'm still trying to learn around 10% of people's skills of Nandita as I go ahead. And Nandita, I hope you got the plaque and we'd love to hear from you.
Yes, I think this photograph first.
Yeah. Could you bring the plaque a little closer, please?
Yeah.
Thank you. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You got it, Atul?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. First of all, Sunita, thank you. I think that was so sensitive thought of yours that we should all have the plaques before you give it to us and to take a picture with the plaques. I think that's wonderful, wonderful. And appreciation of all the work of the, as a president of this wonderful, wonderful organization that you're giving us. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And Bhaskar, those lovely words, thank you so much. IAGE, let me come, I come from a different generation, I think. When I passed out in 93, it was Prakash, Prashant and Rakesh who were ruling the scene. And here was Rishikesh and IVF. So when I finished my MD, I was like, CN Purandare was operating. It was like whether to go technique, surgical technique of the open surgery or to go for technology, that's IVF or endoscopy. And I actually tried both. I went for endoscopy. I went for IVF technology. And sorry guys, IVF won over and I went over there. But when I went over there, I realized that endoscopy was an inherent part of the IVF and the love was integrated and both the loves came together. So I think it was really, it was no rocket science that I had to be in endoscopy as well as IVF. And definitely my foray into IAGE was always there. And when I became the president of IAGE, I think it was an amazing feeling because first of all, you saw all the awards Sunita has given, all the men in line, okay? I was the first woman after Motashaw. So yes, I was very happy to be the first woman in line. And after me, all the women have followed. So it's really, really foray we've done into the male bastion, I think. And it was an amazing year because Sunita was my secretary and I knew how passionate she was about endoscopy. So I really didn't have to, stress my brains out too much. So with her and me in partnership, we did so much work. We did a lot of conferences and we mobilized a lot of people. And the best thing that I remember about my year was the Yuva IAG that we started. Here it was the youngsters. We had it in a place like Latur where nearly 60 people, 60 youngsters operated for the first time. And I really want to thank Kalyan Barmade for it because he single-handedly did that conference and we gave opportunity to all the under 40s to operate. And I think that was a turning point because after that year, I have seen all these youngsters really come out and perform and they are shining. I think look at it during Rishma's year or during Sunita's star conferences. I think the youngsters have really been energized and really got the courage to show up or have got a platform to show. So I think that change which I got in, or that little introduction of that youth energy which I got into IAG, I'm really happy about. Of course, I think the seniors have, shown the way. I was very happy to be treasurer of PK Shah because I really learned a lot about economics and money and all from him a lot. And I should not forget, I think Prashant has always been a great friend and, he's always helped me. Let's do this, let's do that. Prakash has always helped me and always sided me in whatever, and now we are following each other in Isar and I'm really happy that he's on my side. Rishikesh is my business partner and he's always supported me and been a mentor to me. Then there's Dr. Shyam Desai, Dr. Adi Dastur, Rishma, Sunita, all, this has become like a family and I'm so happy, Sunita, that today you've got us all together and 1,500 people are watching. I'm really, really happy. The only one message that I have to everybody is that enjoy, follow your passion and you will definitely do well in whatever you take. I think if you have a passion for what you're doing, you will excel in it. All these people that you've seen before me, they are passionate, they're focused, they're hardworking. And believe me, they have worked very hard to reach where they are. And today they are going to do it. And the people who are going to follow, I think Bhaskar, Atul, there's Krishna Kumar, they're amazing people. And I'm sure IAG is going to do extremely well. And I'm very, very proud that I've been an president of IAG. And thank you. Thank you, Sunita, from the bottom of my heart and Team IAG 2020 for giving us this honor. Thank you very, very much.
I second what Bhaskar said. Nandita always makes you feel as if you are the best. That's a brilliant quality you have, Nandita. Hats off to you. Well, it's again an honor to...
Also, Atul, she got me to the nostalgic time when we both as a president and secretary moved across the country. 3 days we used to have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, enjoy our life. Friday operate, Saturday have orations, keynotes, and evenings were fantastic. Thank you, Nandita, for teaching me a lot during those periods.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's my proud privilege now to invite Dr. Vishmapai. I think one of the most humble, well-dressed, most organized and methodical person I've ever met. It's an honor, Rishma. We welcome you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Need to sit a little better, Rishma.
Oh?
No, a little on this side. Sorry. Yeah.
What's happening to this?
No. This is better.
Big. Yeah, that's better. That's better. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a beautiful mega trophy that doesn't fit into the frame very easily. So let me begin by saying I'm really touched and overwhelmed by this really beautiful gesture of Sunita and Bhaskar and Atul. I mean, really to remember to honor the past presidents, acknowledge their contribution, really requires a lot of magnanimity. And I think Sunita really has this generosity of spirit. So really grateful, in these very depressing times, sometimes dull times, to have these moments of happiness, coming our way. I think it's really special. And all of us know how much effort it took that every single person got these huge, beautifully crafted trophies delivered to them yesterday in our homes. That was really an effort in coordination, and you all just carried it out impeccably. So amazing. One more mega achievement with all the other fabulous achievements that you all have done. I always used to call IAGE, other than Indian Association of Gynec Endoscopy, I used to call it innovation, advances, and goals in endoscopy and greatness in endoscopy. And I feel each year the expertise, the ingenuity of these endoscopic surgeons is just getting better and better. And a very major part of this expertise and experience is being played by IAGE, because IAGE is giving each of these endoscopic surgeons, senior or junior or young, a platform to really showcase their skills and to share their knowledge, not only nationally, but internationally as well, and to learn and to teach. So it's just become a wonderful platform. And now, there are subunits everywhere, there are chapters, and it has just become a pan-India, pan-global, fantastic organization. I know in 2018-19, when I was president of IAGE, I also at the same time was president of the Indian Society of Assisted Reproduction, ESAR, and incidentally had as my secretary for both organizations the next president of IAGE, that is Krishna Kumar. And we worked very nicely together, very harmoniously together. And, automatically there was a merge of fertility enhancing endoscopic surgery. So fertility and IVF and ART and endoscopy came beautifully together in that year. We were able to do many unique events in that zone. Also, for the first time, we did the Eve endoscopy. And like Nandita said, when she came in, she was the first woman president after many years. And many of us felt that there were many men in comparison with women. So to kind of break the, imbalance and to give a lot of opportunity to women, for the first time, we had this mega conference in Chennai. And believe me, it was so well attended. We had only women surgeons operating. Men were invited to give the talks, but surgery was only by the women. So, and it was just amazing surgery from, major cancer surgery onwards, every possible thing. So I think that was a very unique twist that we had in my year. Also, I think one of the huge efforts that I tried to do in the year and managed finally was to get an office for IAGE. All of us have been talking about how there was just one cupboard of IAGE lying with Dr. Thakur and one cupboard lying here. And finally, after really a lot of effort, because IAGE was never a very rich organization, we really managed to get together money. I created patrons of IAGE in order to gather money. And we managed to buy a beautiful office, large, fantastic office next to Foxy office for IAGE. And unfortunately, with this, whole pandemic, we were not able to furnish it and move in. Otherwise, I was hoping Sunita would work out of that beautiful office. So I think it's going to go to the next president now to finally have our own office and make this a much more efficient and organized organization. It's a dynamic organization, but it needs this home base and office to make it function better as an organization. So I'm really touched, really happy, and salute you for the efforts that you have made, Sunita and team. And really, this will be the most memorable year. Everyone's talked about the conferences. I don't think we can get bigger, better, more. But in terms of personal touch and your warmth, you are unbeatable. We love you, and thank you so much for creating such a memorable day in our life. Thank you.
You are muted, Bhaskar.
Before Sunita gives her concluding remarks, I just want to speak about a few things. I think the last three presidents have shown us that you can achieve a lot in 1 year. I think Nandita was the first one who started the regional conferences, and she also started the Yuva. Rishma did the e-vendoscopy, the chapters. Rishma also was instrumental in getting into the office. Sunita, we know, especially how she made good use of the pandemic, which otherwise also we were going with many more state conferences, state-wise conferences. But I think what is due is because of Prakash and Rishikesh, who made that change happen, that you become a treasurer and progress on to become the president. So it gives you 5 years to plan what you want to do. So although you have only 1 year instead of 2, you can achieve much more because you planned way ahead. And that is why I think it is important that every president has built something different. It is like a building where everybody's contributed one block or one part of it. And that is how we are such a strong building today. And you would be pleased to know, especially the most senior past presidents would be pleased to know that in the previous year when Vishma was the president, we added almost 300 new members. This year we've added almost 500 new members, which means that as an organization, we are ever growing and there's more interest in the organization. Over to you, Sunita.
Thank you, Bhaskar. First of all, Bhaskar and Atul, the way you conducted beautifully. I know we had constant chat for last 15 days over there. All the past presidents, thank you so much for taking out time. I was absolutely sometimes on a WhatsApp, sometimes on a phone and talking to you, and please be there because it's a Sunday late afternoon, but Nandita was busy in AMOG's conference, her meeting, and I know how AMOG's meetings goes. Rajendra is a part of AMOG's. So I said, no, it should not be that I don't have two important presidents with it. And everyone just love to be here at 4 o'clock disturbing their sleep. So thank you so much. And always remember, anytime we do any programs, whether they became successful or not, we always remembered what the past president has done in his tenure and how we can follow or how we can improve. The most important thing what I will request, because I can see all 4 presidents ahead here, that Eagle project which I have started from bottom of my heart, please continue that. That is going to be 1 decade down, not the e-conferences, not the star conferences. It is the Eagle project which will be spoken and should be spoken, because that will make 38,000 FOXY, 38,000 IAGE members. So that's very important. Every one of you have taught us, all of us together, a lot. And from bottom of my heart, Atul, thank you so much for collecting all at his place so there is no confusion. And I need to thank Zydus, my very, very dear friend Sudeep, the GM of Zydus, who is always there. One phone call you have to pick up on Saturday morning from Atul's hospital and ensure by evening it reaches. I don't want anything to reach on Sunday morning. It should be on Saturday evening. Secondly, Bhaskar and Atul always supporting with so many mementos we saw, and we decided we will make such a big one that you can't ignore it. It has to be in your cabin every day, reminding us all the time. Thank you so much.